Hello, and welcome to the Cup TV. Well, we put the real and the tea in reality. You can always go to us first to quench your thirst. I'm your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Purr. I'm currently just sipping on some water here. Yes, Jack, fresh bottle, new water.
Fresh bottle.
New water. And yeah, I'm just drinking water because hydration is important. But you know what is more important and what I love the most? It's my cup mug. Here. One and two means a panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs. Boop, 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 boop. All right, short version today. Here.
Just like the episode.
Just like
Sure.
the episode. Absolutely. Where nothing matters. You can get your cup mug or any of our cup merch at lanagscreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses. So get your cup merch, period.
And hello, my name is Jack. I am the resident game designer of the panel. And why does it always have to be the good episodes where things are happening that they decide to halt the game and throw someone to another tribe? Why? It didn't have to be this episode. Why couldn't this have all happened last episode? Just do it then. Actually, no, then we wouldn't
No.
have got the double idle burn. I wonder if there's a way to solve this problem.
Um, I think not. I think we should just
No, I think we just have to keep it. Yeah.
should have
No
keep it
worries.
out, keep it as is. It is fine. It's fine what it is.
Uh,
But yeah, we are here talking about Survivor Australia, episode 11, where everything just gets your hopes up, only to snatch them away. And that's okay because I'm used to that now in Survivor Australia. They like to get my hopes up, they like to get me excited about what is to come, only to dash my hopes and dreams. And I'm okay with that. It's okay, Survivor Australia. It's okay.
it's okay.
It's
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 okay.
it's okay. I mean, even though sometimes I feel like this, it's okay. It's okay. I am not tripping. It's okay. Anyway, but before we jump into that, y'all know what to do. If you've been checking us out, thank you, and we appreciate you very much. If this is your first time here, welcome. We are on a mission here at the Cup TV, and apparently all of our channels to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you will do it, a huge solid, a huge favor, a huge like like give me some props. Hit the subscribe button on right now, like right now. Go ahead. No, I'm looking at you. Do it right now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are trying to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year so we can unlock a lot of fun things that we can do on this channel once we hit that milestone. So we appreciate you if you would join us in that mission, and we will continue to give you content on a regular basis about almost all things competitive reality television. And we'll do our best to be on top of our game if you are on top of yours. You can subscribe to this channel and all of our other channels. If you're a fan of Drag Race, WWE Wrestling, or Eurovision Song Contest, we have a channel for you. Check out our link tree in the description below, and you can find all those links to go over there and subscribe. Also, our audio podcast links are in the description below if you need to check us out on the go. So click that link so you can go check out where you get your audio podcast desires from. We're there. Just check out the cup. And also, our Patreon is open for business, y'all. Our Patreon is open. We got a lot of fun stuff coming your way and a lot of stuff that we are planning to do and to show you guys. So if you want to get to know the panel a little bit better behind the scenes when we're not talking about Australia Survivor or anything else, when we're just having a good time and kicking back, jump in there and check out our Patreon as well. So, Jack,
Lana.
we have a lot of stuff to talk about because I wasn't here yesterday. I mean,
Yes.
technically wasn't here yesterday. Um,
They couldn't see you, but you were all here in our hearts and the
yes,
private chat.
yes. I just I was not feeling well yesterday, but it's okay. I'm much better today, ready to go. Um, and we're coming back from tribal, from the Bronze tribe, where Noonan was the latest to go. Um, and it's a lot of people. People are upset. People are a little upset with AJ. They're upset with AJ. His alliance is upset with him because he played an idol that they didn't know about. And it was Cara, and she was really, really, really upset about this. And I'm like, me personally, this is me personally. I'm like, girl, what you mad at? Like, why you mad? It's called a hidden immunity idol. Like, what?
I think it's definitely because AJ's been promoting this like air of I'm going to be honest, I'm going to tell you everything, I'm going to bring you in, and then has been doing these very duplicitous things behind the scenes. And honestly, this feels more like a camel that broke a straw that broke the camel's back situation versus like Karen actually being like, no, I'm directly mad at you because of this idol. Because, I mean, Noonan at the beach and at Tribal, and basically on the way out as well, basically said, AJ is lying to all of you. You cannot trust him. Listen to me. And then suddenly AJ plays his idol, and Noonan's like, yeah, I said everything. Y'all didn't listen to me. Look where you are.
I
And
mean, but it does, like, he never lied to them about an idol. He never said, I don't have an idol. He just didn't tell them he had one. And that is the whole
yeah,
premise of the game. My thing is this: I would, if I ever played any type of survivor game, I would not expect my closest allies to have to feel the need to tell me that they found an idol. Because number one, I didn't find it. Number two, it's theirs to use how they want. And the problem with people telling people about idols all the time is because now everybody wants to use the idol as a we thing. And it's a we idol. And no, it's a me idol. Mine. I found it. I will use it how I feel is necessary for me to advance me in this game. It's not a collective idol where we all get to discuss, okay, who's going to use the idol today? No, absolutely not. So I'm like, if I'm mad at AJ for a whole lot of things. This ain't one of them.
this definitely is not one of them. I do not blame AJ for not saying anything because 100% if he told them, it would be known information throughout the tribe at this
Oh,
point.
everybody would know. Everybody
Everyone
would
would know.
know.
But I mean, like most things, probably around AJ, just because of how he's been acting the entire game, this is just a reason to scapegoat him because everyone has been waiting for a
Yeah,
reason to turn on this man as quickly as possible.
yeah. And you
And I'm
know
not
what?
going to say I'm happy because that would be mean.
I mean, I'm not mad that they
I'm
want to
not
turn on
mad at it
AJ.
at all. In fact, I'm rather joyous, but that would be mean to say that on a podcast, so I'm
I
not
mean,
going to.
actually, I would just say it. Like honestly, I
I'm
would
happy for
rejoice.
Corinne.
I'm happy for Corinne. I'm happy. And look, if they want to turn on AJ for this, if this was the straw, fine. It wouldn't have been my straw. It would have been the straw would have happened a long time ago with AJ. The straw would have been when he announced to the other tribe that we're doing a hostage situation. That would have been my
Yeah,
straw. But they were okay with that. That's what I'm like, mind blown here. Y'all ain't mad at that, but we mad at this when it's this is justified, but that okay. All right.
because it benefited them.
Right.
That situation at
Woo,
that point, AJ
woo.
said publicly, benefited all of them in that moment.
Jack.
The moment,
Jack, you speaking a word right now. Say it.
the moment that something AJ had didn't benefit them is the moment they turned on him.
Baby, this sounds so like real life right now.
Ah,
This sounds like so much real life. Like the minute we stop benefiting you is the minute it's no longer good. But the minute
Mhm.
we everything that we do benefits you, oh, it's all good. It's all good.
It's all fine. Everything's fine.
Woo.
Everything's fine.
Oh, this is a
Uh,
word. But anyway, I'm just like,
anyway.
okay. But yeah, they're mad at AJ. And so Corinne is going off on AJ about not telling him about the idol. He's like, look, are we good? Are we like, I don't want this to be the reason for us not to be good. She's like, I don't know. I don't
It
know.
is. It is now.
But it
Believe
is.
me, it is. You're not
It
getting out of that.
it's just wild to me. It's wild to me. So she's upset. She's upset. AJ the next morning tries to talk to her. She's like, "Hey, good morning. It's good. Fine, fine, nice to see you." So he still feels the tension. It's still tension. He goes off by himself, and this is when Paulie decides it's time for him to make a pitch. It's time for Paulie to pitch to the rest of the tribe about why he should be the one to slide into AJ's position, and they vote AJ out. Um, and he gave some really decent points about how AJ plays. He was like, AJ is manipulative, he is deceitful, he if you want somebody who's going to play and do what they say they're going to do, I'm the guy. Let me in. Vote him out. Like, because I feel like he is not going to benefit your game in the long run. All of these points are making sense. All of these points are like, okay, it would make anybody think. I don't think he has to convince Logan too much. Logan is already like, yeah, yeah. Corinne is almost there. She's like, do I want to play with Polly? Most of me wants to play with Polly and not with AJ. I don't know. Kaylin is still in the middle. He's still riding that middle wave, kind of just like he's listening. He's definitely listening. But he's like, but is this the right time? Should we figure out? You know what? We shouldn't make decisions like
Before we're
this
ready.
and before a challenge. Like we can't make before we we don't want to say too much before we even know what the results are gonna be and whatever. So he's just kind of right in the middle. Kristen is making her inroads into like, yeah, we can
Hmm.
because I don't trust him. I don't trust him. And they know she still has that idol that she has not played, so everybody's still staying on Kristen's good side because nobody wants that backlash of that idol to come boomerang around and hit them in the face. So they kind of just like, she's like, I just don't trust him. He says one thing, and he says the same thing to everybody. And her and Karen and and Logan are like taking exchanging notes, and they're like, oh yeah, he says that to everybody. He said that to me. He said that to me. He said that to me. So can't really trust him.
It's very interesting. I mean, they literally are even like Kristen even brings up like directly. So he's doing like this vault thing of like all this information that he's not telling y'all, and then everyone just goes, "Oh yeah, no, no." He has a very similar thing with me that he's basically tried to just like stop, and unfortunately, all of those vault doors are now broken.
Yep.
Every single piece of information is coming out, and everyone is kind of realizing not necessarily realizing, but like it's becoming even clearer
Yeah.
that AJ has been attempting to play every single person on this tribe,
Yep.
and now they have a reason to try and pin him and try and just shut him up before merge because they don't. To be honest, they don't want to deal with him during jury.
Right.
They don't want to listen to him for how what like an extra
Um,
2-3 weeks. They'd rather
Right.
get him going and like
Right.
dump him with the rest of the people who already don't like him.
Right.
But we there is an interesting moment of Karin basically saying, I can either work with AJ, who I know and I've known for a long time, but know he's deceitful, or I can accept Paulie's basically snake oil. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I know he's selling me way too much,
Mm-hmm.
but am I willing to just buy it anyway because it's more enjoyable?
Right.
And I've never like kind of seen that argument before of like, I know I can't be told, I know I can't be sold everything that's coming to me, but am I against that fact? Like, I can deal with the consequences later.
I mean,
So,
I think with Kara, she's kind of just like at this point over AJ, and it's just like he's been doing much and much and much too much stuff to just that bothers her, and it's like I could sell my soul to the devil I know, or sell my soul to the devil I don't, and that's what it comes down to, and that's what it's going to boil down to eventually. It's like, and but after that, we go back to the Brains tribe.
just
And
for a
they're just for a moment, and they're talking amongst themselves. All of them are standing around. And Jesse decides he has a pitch, his own pitch. He's going to pitch that. How about he said because when we left Braun strong, we said we were going to be Braun strong, and that's how we were going to go into this swap. Everybody was going to be as strong together. What if we? Why can't we do that with this group? What if we create a mega alliance with the eight of us and we go into merge eight strong?
and immediately Morgan and the other women on the tribe are like, what? Wait, why is Jesse calling the shots here? Like, the men on this tribe, for some reason, have been calling the shots this whole time. This kind of like trio of Ben and Jesse and PD. And suddenly, they're making sure they can call the shots into merge. I don't know. I don't know about that one. And we end up going into a moment of Morgan going off to the side, going, I don't necessarily know if I want to play with the OG brains. And Kate, who we get a full on can we get a full on intro package for, which is interesting to do for episode 11 of a 24 episode season. You, there was no better time for this in like the first week, 2 weeks. I think the last one we had was like episode 4. But Kate and Morgan kind of bring the other two Brains girls together and go, hey, why don't we just, you know, make an alliance together? Because I don't trust these guys. They're running around in circles.
I mean, they have a point. Like, first of all, who initiates an eight-person mega alliance with people who you've been trying to get out since the swap even happened? And then the guys just like tell the girls, here's the plan. This is what we're doing. And expect them to be like, oh, okay.
And notice how every single time, except for one instance where Morgan was involved, notice who's always throwing. It's not really Morgan or Kate.
No, it's
Every single
always Jesse
time,
or Ben.
Kate's like being basically told to sit on the sidelines.
Yep.
Morgan sometimes as well. And the Brawn men are throwing challenges to make sure they can get rid of other people. And they're sick of it. And I don't blame them
I don't blame
because
them either.
we can continue doing this, but all that's going to prove is that the Brawn men have control
Yep.
and they're going to stick with it.
Yep.
And oh my God, thank God something different is happening with this game. I was like, yes, I really do enjoy seeing a strong alliance stick together.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand,
I like an underdog story coming together and plans shifting. Ugh.
I love it.
I love a
Oh,
shake up in the atmosphere. I do. And this was going to be that shakeup. This was going to be because the girls was like, we can't just sit back and listen and let them run this. If we figure something out,
We'll do it.
we'll do it. We'll make it work. And so I'm like, okay. And then they come up with a name and they are girls going wild. And I was like, work, work.
But I do want to note that Morgan and Kate are kind of also pushing like to Zara and Laura, who are on the bottom, like, hey, if y'all do anything with this, if this leaks in any way,
Mhm.
we're the ones who are going to get the blowback. We're the ones who are going to be turned on, and we're the ones that are going to get screwed. We
Right.
are putting a lot of trust in y'all. Do not screw us over.
Absolutely.
And honestly, for the time being, it seems like they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't blame them for saying it like that because they are the ones who will be in trouble. And so they have to protect themselves as well because as much as you want to trust people, you just met these people. You don't know these people. And the whole time y'all been together or apart or on different tribes going against each other. So it's like, I don't know you and I don't know if you are trustworthy or not. So we're gonna see how this works. But just know we're open for that. And we're open to make some changes. And Zara and Logan and Laura are definitely open to make those changes because they're at the bottom. They have no choice but to be like, yes, absolutely yes. And so they go and they're like, okay, we're gonna make this group and we're gonna go. We're gonna make it happen. So then we go to the challenge.
this I think is quite literally the simplest challenge I can think of.
Yep. There's poles. There's water in the trough. You hold the poles up and you hold it. You just hold it. Hold it as long as you
And
can.
whichever tribe has all the water out of their trough first loses, or at least a good amount of it. Like, very clearly, if one tribe is lost, one tribe is lost.
Yeah. It is what it is. So they were like, okay, that's what it was. So they all get into position after Kate and Zara are sitting out, which made sense to me in this challenge. Upper arm strength is not their strong suits. We can see. So they're gonna sit this one out. Everybody get into position. They holding it up, just like so. And that's what they gotta do. They gotta hold on to see for dear life and hold on for the longest. We're everything's looks fine. They're starting off fine. But then all of a sudden, the weirdest thing starts happening. Laura is like, hold on. She's like, why did it just get heavier? Why did it just get heavier?
Like, why did it get substantially heavier? Like, and then just a couple
Everything.
drops.
And then all of a sudden, a waterfall of water just comes in. And everybody looks like they're holding it up. Like nobody looks like they're trying to throw this. Not 5 seconds in, anyway.
JLP literally looks at his watch and is like, "Y'all, we are like 2 minutes in. What the
No, it wasn't even
huh?"
2 minutes. They didn't even go a minute.
Yeah. And almost it might as there might as well have been like full on like tungsten in the trough because the Brawn just win. They're confused. The brains are confused. JLP is confused. The monkeys in the trees are confused.
And guess what?
Like,
We're confused. I was so confused.
but of
Because,
course, there's a reason behind it.
and what's the reason, Jack? What's the reason? Because nobody says what the reason is.
Well, it just J Jesse and PD, maybe not PD so much, but Jesse and Ben just they seem a little less tired, like they were putting in a lot less effort, like they weren't. trying to hold it up.
No.
Great. The people who just suggested a majority mega alliance have actively thrown a challenge again.
Again.
Why? I'm trying to think of how many. Okay, so Rich's vote was episode 7. It wasn't thrown. Episode 8. It wasn't thrown. Episode 9. It was thrown. Episode 10. It was thrown. Episode 11. It was thrown.
Mm-hmm.
More than half of the challenges in the swap have been thrown by someone.
Mm-hmm. And
Why is this season a mess?
because AJ decided to tell people he's holding people hostage. Because that's when the foolishness happened, when AJ decided to hold people hostage. And now it's like, oh, okay, now we're throwing challenges to save the hostages. And
Oh my god.
it is what it is. It's crazy. It's stupid. It's whatever. But the Brawn win.
The Brawn win.
The Brawn wins. And they're like, hey, a win is a win. Even though AJ knew, AJ was like, oh, they throwing it. Okay. And he like, but nobody says, oh no, we threw it. No, they didn't want to say that. Of course not. You don't say that, but they clearly threw it.
Clearly.
And that just pisses off the girls because they're like, why
did we throw that? We didn't need to throw that. We just made a pact to keep everyone safe. Why are we throwing things?
It doesn't make any sense to do that. But they did it anyway. They did it anyway. So good on them.
I do have to mention one other thing that happened though, just before the challenge started. And I still can't explain this because I don't know what information was given or sent. AJ basically when the Brawn tribe is describing Noonan's vote out and like a lot of information was revealed and all this, AJ looks over to Zara and kind of like gives a head nod of like, I'm in control.
He just nodded. Honestly,
I don't know what he did. And then
he didn't do anything. I'm gonna be
Zara
honest.
responded, "You did it," and AJ just kept nodding his head. What was that exchange?
It was so stupid. It was like AJ looked over, nodded. Zara looked back, nodded. I think it was more of a, yeah, we're still here. We're still, we still working together. You come, we get to merge, we're still good. And I think that's what it was. But
Zara might have interpreted it as a little more than it might.
No, I don't think Zara interpreted it as more. I think everybody else who saw it interpreted it as more than what it was. Because Zara literally was just like, okay. Like she didn't take it, she didn't go around like AJ is screaming like he's still running things over there. Like she never said anything like that. She just was like, she just nodded and I think it was everybody else because when we get to that part of the episode, I think it was everybody else who took it for more than what it actually was. To be honest.
I mean, obviously, we'll get to it, but I do think maybe this was also a factor in Zara's later actions in the episode of realizing we're close to merge. If I can do something that gets me to merge and I can be without an ally I can really trust versus someone I'm kind of iffy on, I don't know.
I think we differ. I think we differ on this. This is gonna be an interesting conversation.
This is going to be an interesting one because I think we're reading two different things from this conversation.
So let's get to that point. Let's get to it. So we get back to camp, and the brains are still very confused about what happened. They don't know what happened. Most of them don't know what happened. Some of them knows what happened. But immediately the original Bronze tribe, go walking off to the water well together. and they go walk off. And so then that is where we first get our first peek at where we think an immunity idol is, because they keep showing us this gray uh package sitting at the corner at the bottom of the tree. And it's just sitting there. It's not hidden very well. It's just sitting there. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, one of them about to find it because they head into the water well and they stand around this water well and it's literally at the tree across from the water well. But they go in there having a little round table discussion. And Jesse, of course, is taking charge and he's like, we need to go after Laura. We need to send Laura home, let her go. And we'll split the vote 4-3 on Laura and Miles. So PD, the girls vote for Miles, and then we'll vote for Laura.
No, I mean,
And then we'll get Laura and
is that what happened? Because I could have sworn maybe I misheard, because this plan was very weirdly spoken about of like how, and maybe I just didn't see it right. I could have sworn that he pointed at the girls
the
to
girls
vote
vote for
for.
Miles. The girls will vote for Miles because the guys will vote for no.
No, the
The guy.
reason it was the girls voting for Laura because they
Oh
specify later that it's 2 less votes for Laura if they
yes,
don't vote.
yes. The girls vote for Laura. The guys vote for Miles. PD votes for Laura, and then they'll get the two girls, Laura and Zara, to vote for Miles. So it can be a 4-4, and they'll get Miles to vote for Laura. So it'll be a 4-4 type of deal. And they're like, okay, that's what we'll do. Break. I love you guys. Till death do us part. All kind of
Hmm.
nonsense. And the girls are like, okay. Well, they're like, well, how do we get Laura and Zara to talk to to vote Miles? And so that's when Kate was like, we'll talk. I'll talk to Laura. I'll talk to Laura. And they're like,
We'll,
okay, yeah.
we'll we'll let them know.
And they're like, you do. So just like, yeah. You do what we had to do to Max. Get your hands dirty. You do to Laura what we did to Max. So get them comfortable, blah, blah, blah. And so they're like, yeah, okay. So the girls go off and they do go talk to Laura and Zara. And they're like, they want the vote to be 4-3 you and Miles. So they want you to vote for Miles. And they're going to vote for you. And we're supposed to vote for you. But we're not going to do that. She said, you might get a vote on you, but it won't be enough to go. And Laura, of course, is freaking out about that one vote. She's like, I don't know, I don't only want to vote.
I don't want any votes. It's like, that's
That's
just to
not
be
how this
clear,
works.
that's not how this is going to work. We're never going to get the vote not off of you. If we attempted that, that would be insanely suspicious.
Absolutely.
So
You're
that
gonna
doesn't
get a vote.
happen.
You're
You're
gonna
going to
get a
receive
vote.
1 or 2 votes. You're going to be okay, though. It's no big deal. Let's calm down.
Right. It's like it's okay. We'll get our 2 votes. If we vote for Jesse and the 2 of you vote for Jesse, that's 4 votes on Jesse. And they were like, oh, okay. That could work. But she's like, but you might get a vote. Laura, of course, don't want that. But they're like, it's okay. It's all right. And they're like, what about Miles? Because they had sent Miles on a mission to go find an idol. So they're like, well, we'll talk to Miles. We'll see what we can do. So then they go talk to Miles. And Miles, they like, look, it's a plan of brewing. Something is happening. They're trying to get the votes on me. But the 4 of us are going to vote for Jesse. Would you vote for Jesse? And Miles was like, oh, absolutely. Sure. Yeah. No worries. No worries. I'll vote for Jesse. And they were like, okay, now go find the idol because the other votes are on you. And he was like, okay. So he goes looking for the idol. Jesse is looking and seeing that the girls are talking. And he's getting nervous. But I'm like, what you getting nervous for? Didn't you just tell Kate to go talk to Laura and make sure she calm? How would she do that if she don't chat her up and babysit and have conversations with her to make sure she's cool?
This was so strange because I mean, I my honest guess is that they talked about it for potentially too long. Like that's the only reason in my mind that
Mhm.
this could have been a reason that kind of like raised a red flag of we told them to talk, but like they're talking a lot. And they're also like kind of bringing in Miles to these talks. Like, what's happening? Is something wrong? I can't tell if something's wrong.
Mm.
Fine. We'll betray the women. It's not like we haven't already done that today. Um, and
They go to Miles. They're like, we get to bring Miles in. He's like, yeah, we trust him. We bring Miles in. And then we'll tell PD to change his vote to Laura. So the four of us will all vote for Laura, even if the four of them decide to vote for somebody else. And then we'll, he said, I can convince Morgan at the stoop. Ben is like, I can convince Morgan at the stoop to change her vote. I'm like, oh, can you? Huh,
okay,
okay. Okay.
that's interesting. Um, Miles this whole time is
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Sure. You know what? This
Absolutely.
is this is what I always wanted. An alliance of purely men.
Love it.
Always what I wanted. As a bisexual male who is also a stripper, this is exactly what I wanted in my life.
Yeah.
What?
Absolutely.
And then just kind of like looks down and is like, "Oh, hey, we can just name this alliance the Hunks because that's literally like tattooed in the middle of Jesse's stomach."
Yeah.
I fucking can't.
It's so wild. And then
I
we
love
get
him so much.
then cut to Miles like, there's no way I'm working with them. They are clueless. They have no idea what is going on right now. Because I like working with Laura a little bit more than I like working with them. And because I know them a little bit better. I'm not okay, but whatever.
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 Sure.
Sure.
Uh,
So then we get Laura is she's spiraling. She's losing it. She's like nervous. So she just goes to Kate in front of everybody. Kate, can I talk to you for a second? And they're like, yeah, yeah. And of course that brings more
uh,
red flags to the guys. And they're like, yep, we're doing this and we're doing this. So Laura goes to Kate and is like, listen, I am putting all of my trust in you and I just need that reassurance that this is the plan, that even if you're thinking about a little bit turn on me, I would rather you just say that instead of like just. And Kate is like, no, I got you. We If you do your part, I'm gonna do my part, period. And it was like, okay, all right,
sure.
sure.
Uh,
But of course Laura's like, okay, I gotta think about the witch coven, the auras. And I
oh,
use my guides to guide me to this place. Something that it's something that should be able to help me coming out the sky. It's something should help me. And she goes
something.
walking, and she walks to the water well. She looks around. I'm like, oh, she's about to find that idol and that suspicious gray package that was sitting on the floor. The suspicious gray package is no longer sitting on the floor. So I'm like, where is the suspicious gray package? Who picked up the suspicious gray package? But then we just walk around the tree and there's this scroll just laying there, just sitting there, just leaning up against the tree, chilling like, what's up?
I've been here all day.
Been
Like
here.
y'all had hours.
You didn't see me?
We're about to go to tribal. What are you doing?
And so she picks it up and I'm like, okay, a scroll. I know they're not gonna give them clues to an idol this late in the game. Like this, like we're not gonna give
There's about
clues.
to be something very wrong that's about to happen at tribal. There's no way. And
There's no way. And no,
uh,
she opens it and she reads it and she goes, and then they go to commercial and I'm like, okay.
uh it's so like I was really enjoying this episode, and then I remembered just for a moment that Australian Survivor really likes non-elimination episodes, and she opened it. Honestly, when I had seen it for the third time and she picked it up, I went, All of the drama that was built up this episode is now being thrown away. God damn it.
See, I was not there. I thought when she read it, it was going to be that whole she gets to leave tribal with just safety with no power type of deal. I'm like, is that what we're doing here? Like, do we do this in Australian Survivor? I don't remember safety with no power in Australian Survivor. Do we do this here? But if we're doing it here now, okay. But that's gonna really suck for Zara and the girls because they lose a number, but they still have Miles, so it's still the three. It'll be still be 4-4, but it'll be 4-3 at this point, so they can still get out the plan that they was gonna do. It's cool, but that's not what it is
That's not what
because
it is. It's never what it is.
no, because when Zara she comes and she shows Zara the thing, Zara's like, "Oh crap, this is going to screw me.
Yep.
This is going to screw me." And and
All of the scrambling, every single bit of scrambling that happened throughout this entire episode is now pretty much bunk. None of it matters.
it's just like, well, so they still never say exactly what it is. They just show Zara's reacting to it, and Laura's like, "I'm doing it. I'm sorry. It is what it is." And so Zara is like, if she think it's gonna be that easy, mm-mm,
Not happening.
mm-mm. I, baby, no. I'm gonna have to do something about this because this is not about to be the end of my game. This is not how I want my game to end. So we're gonna have to figure something out. And we see them getting ready for tribal and they head to tribal council. That's the next thing we see them getting ready and heading on to tribal council. And Zara's like, I got to play my game for me. Period. I was like, oh, okay. Well, what is happening here? I was like, because I'm still under the impression it might be a safety without power kind of situation. I'm like, what do you mean? So they get to tribal and they sit down and immediately Zara leans over to Laura and was like, I'm not voting you out. If I let you go, that screws me. So I'm not voting you. And so Laura was like, what? You have to vote me. And she was like, no, I'm not.
Mm,
And I was like,
oh,
what is happening here?
all of that camaraderie that they built over the last, I don't know, like 2 weeks is gone. They can't agree on this major thing.
I mean,
And
they never agreed. The two of them
they
hardly
never
ever
agreed on
agreed
it.
on anything. Like the whole 22 days they were there together, they never agreed on anything. Because if it was up to Zara, Rich would have been gone day one. But Laura was like, no, and prolonged it. So it just they just never agreed on anything. And so they're back and forth talking to the point where JLP had to stop what he was doing, talking to everybody else. Like, it's a lot of conversation going on right here. And Laura was like, oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. She said, I found this clue, this advantage, and it just says that who we whoever gets voted out tonight does not go home, but they go over to the Brawn tribe. And I was like, whoa, okay.
Momentum is killed once
Ev-
again.
Everything I
And
wanted,
every single thing that we've experienced this episode, the whole scramble is now,
null and void.
but should it have been? Because I think basically the women's best option was to stick with the plan.
Absolutely.
Potentially vote out instead maybe PD to the other side and keep Jesse as a target for the next episode, and
Mm,
hell, throw that challenge to make sure that they can vote him out and be like, well, you did this yesterday. You tried to get one of us out. Fair play is fair play.
right.
But
They were too busy both trying to go.
Yep.
They both wanted to go. Laura and Zara both wanted to go. And Zara was like, I'm not letting you go. If you go, I'm screwed. And Laura was like, but I found it. Like that clue was her winning her golden ticket to leave. Like if that was the case, it would have said, you are guaranteed to leave and go to the bronze trap tonight. But that's not what it said. It's still going to
That's
be a
never what
vote.
it said.
No, it's still going to be a vote. And you still have to deal with that. And so she was kind of just like, shocked that Zara was actually fighting her on this and fighting to Zara do. They were like, once they found out what was happening, of course, everything shifted now because they're like, okay, who do we send over to the Brawn tribe? None of the original Brawn wanted to go because they knew if they went, they were no longer in the numbers. Like they would be down a number and they didn't want to do that. But they were, so Laura was like, I will go. And since y'all are so worried about the connections that I have over there, I will go and build the connections for us over there. I will have y'all's back and I will tell them that we need to work with you and instead of going back to just the original Brain Stride because a lot of people over there were just not we're not meshing with. So I feel like I'll be the perfect choice to go. Zara was like, I could go because I have connections over there as well, and I could build the bridges up with our connections and da 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 da. And so now everybody's trying to figure out who do we send over there? Do we send Laura or do we send Zara? I want to know why nobody even said, why don't we send neither one of them and just send Miles? Like,
I think basically the men at a certain point kind of just realize, hey, if we send over Zora, all of our problems are basically solved, and we can do whatever we want next episode. So sending over Zora helps us, especially because they think they have Miles.
mm-hmm,
Like they think they have him. They don't,
mm-hmm.
but we will see if it actually plays out. But yeah, no, I mean at this point it is literally just Laura saying Zara has connections over there. She's just gonna do whatever the fuck she wants. Like she's not gonna gain support, and they're like, yeah, just go take out AJ. Laura's like,
Yeah.
hey, Kate, not gonna happen. Zara and AJ are close.
Well,
What you're gonna do is make sure AJ has another ally.
Laura never said that. Kate was the one because Kate literally was the one who was like, I saw AJ talking to Zara at the challenge. This is where this came back into play. And Kate was like, I saw, mm-mm. She is never going to get rid of AJ. She's never going to do it. I saw them talking. And my point, the reason I was like, I don't think that's what I think they read it that way, but I don't think that was what the intention was between AJ and Zara. But they took it that way and was like, we can't send her over because she's going to keep AJ. And I think the second they said that, I don't think the guys really want to get rid of AJ that bad
I don't think so either because
because they know if they
AJ
go,
gave them a better shot at survival.
and I think everybody knows AJ would be a bigger shield than anybody before them. If something happens, let's say they do merge and AJ is still there, AJ could be house enemy number one. Like AJ is a shield for everybody at this point. And so I think because the even this is why I was like, the men just don't listen because Kate is telling him, and Morgan is telling him, she is in step with AJ. And if we want to get rid of AJ, we don't want to do it. And then Ben turns around, I think we need to take Sinzara and not Laura because they are so much more concerned with Laura's connection to Logan than Zara's connection to Karen, which is also a connection to AJ, which is also a connection to Miles, which they don't know about. So it's
It's a mess.
it's a mess. But Laura is fuming in this moment because she can feel her arguments being snatched away by Zara at this point. And Zara is like, I'm going to do what
what I need to do. Like,
what
this is the best move for me. I'm sorry that it screws you over, but I mean, you shared this information with me. Bad idea.
right, bad idea. And so they go for the vote.
And I will say this is a very interesting vote because I think th- it ends up making sense why it broke down the way it did, but it just is. Uh, I have a question of why one person voted a particular way, but we get two votes first for every single brain member that's on that tribe, being Laura, Miles, Zara, and then the remaining two votes come up for Zara. And Zara is now sent over to Brawn. Now, I mean, it makes sense who voted for Laura. I think they just couldn't vote for themselves
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise, two votes for Miles are Laura and Zara because they don't
Yep.
want to give votes to each other.
Right.
But I mean, they can burn it on a random person if they wanted to. But they both
Mm-hmm.
chose Miles. Congrats. Laura's two votes were from Kate and Morgan, the other two
Yes.
members of the Girls Gone Wild Alliance, because that's the decision that would benefit them the most.
Mm-hmm.
And then the votes from Zara come from Ben, Jesse, PD,
And Miles.
and Miles.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Makes sense to me because Miles needed Zara to get back to the graduates because then Laura is already a bigger threat than Miles over there on the Brains tribe. So they want
Yeah.
Laura gone before they want Miles gone. So, and Miles is willing to work with the girls, and Laura knows it. But she is the only one that knows that, really. So Miles needed Zara to get back to the graduates and smooth things over with the graduates, let them know everything that's going on. And if they make it to merge, he wants the graduates back together again.
I can see that that is never going to happen because AJ's made himself so polarizing.
Yeah.
AJ and Curran are never working together. But of course, he doesn't know that. He wasn't given that information. So I think the hard part is unfortunately, I feel like next week, this upcoming episode, my guess as to what's going to happen is potentially the same members of the this basically the opposite members of Brain throw the challenge. Maybe it is Jesse, PD. They throw the challenge thinking Miles is with them, and then Miles flips and takes out Jesse as the final nail before merge.
Mm-hmm.
That is my full guess as to what's happened, given everything that we know. But I'm uncertain. Like I could definitely see it also being, oh, they just win the challenge and then we just get a random clip because Zara's going to follow whatever. Well, if that happens, probably AJ gets shut down. Or
Yeah.
does he? Maybe it's I don't know. There's a lot of options with Zara flipping tribes and giving AJ another number, but
And let's not be crazy. There is an idol floating around at the camp. Isn't because two idols were played, so there is a
mhm.
chance somebody finds another idol. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I would love the outcome that Jesse is gone next time, and The brains, Miles flips on them, and or they think Miles flipped, but Miles was never really working with them in the first place.
Mhm.
Um, but it'll be hard to convince those girls that Miles is actually going to do what he says he's going to do. But Laura will have to vouch really, really hard for Miles, and so we'll see what happens.
We will see.
We will see. But that is that, y'all. We are done. We have said everything that we could say. It's still interesting. I just wish this wasn't the non-elimination episode, but I think we got another one coming at some point as well. I think the whole Zen situation threw off the plans. So, but
We will see.
we also see in the previews somebody else might be getting hurt, and I'm nervous
I am
because
very nervous.
I swear to Jesus, if it is Kaylin, I'm going to lose my freaking mind.
I am not sure who the screams were from, but they were not screams of someone who can just walk that off.
Nope.
It was very visceral.
Uh
Literally,
huh.
even JLP has to look away.
Yeah.
So, simply put, I am very confident. I'd almost bet money that we're getting a medevac next episode, which sucks.
Sucks big time, and I can't do another medevac on my team. I just can't. I can't. I just can't. But
I don't blame you.
we will be back tomorrow to talk about whatever goes down in this episode. um, it's going to be interesting nonetheless. But thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you taking the time to spend it with us and talking about Survivor Australia. If you enjoyed what you've heard thus far and you want to hear more, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video. All the videos come out like very early on in Australian time, but late here in the States time. So check it out. Follow us on all of our other channels. We have 3 other channels you can follow us in. All those links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links, our Patreon links, our socials at the Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. And you can follow Jack and I on all of those settings as well. And don't forget to get your merch at lodgiescreation.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. It's floating across the screen right now. So get your merch. And on that note, Jack, I'll see you
Get out of
later.
here.
Yeah. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.